Well guys, this time around we're going to try and improve on the braking lights. They're just not as bright, and one idea that I have is LED lights that are not just one bulb but multiple bulbs and incorporated into this section right here. This is just a reflector. We're going to make this an actual working light. So for starters, I drilled the little rivets that it had, and the whole thing just popped off, and this is what you find. I'm about to undo the cables in the back with the help of little one. She's covering her ears because she thought the drill was loud. It wasn't. So on the back side, this is what you'll see. There's a little piece right here that was attached. That's what one of the rivets was holding. You can see the piece of the rivet there. We'll take that out. And that's the back side. And loosens these cables out and gives you room to work with. Basically making the hole for the light right there between those two holes. That gives us also a reference point, how low we can go or how high we can go. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything to match those reflectors. They're about 2.5 to 3 inches. Most everything that is standardized is 4 inches, but I think that's going to work, and it's going to be more visible. So right now, like I was saying earlier, the brake lights, they're okay, but they're not that bright. There's only one LED bulb, pretty dark lenses. So in theory, putting a aftermarket LEDs here, you'll have 2 brake lights. My goal is to be safe on the highway. I'm gonna draw a circle. I need to cut a 4.5 inch hole according to the instructions for the 4-inch light to go in with the grommet. I just bought this from Walmart, a stop, tail, turn light. That should give me what I need. And this is what you'll see. That white is hidden by this rubber grommet that holds everything in place. And in theory, hopefully it'll be a lot brighter. And if not, it'll at least give me 2 lights to get people's attention. One up above, one below. So I'll cut myself a template and measured exactly 4.5. When you do cut it, you want to make sure, because this, if you look at the template here, the rubber piece overlaps that. So you don't want to cut, for example, the 4.5 inch hole right up against something like that. So you want to cut it probably right about there, right on the edge of an existing hole already. That's roughly what I ended up with. Drilled a couple of holes to give me a slot. I'm gonna see if I can get maybe a jigsaw to cut through the rest. Well guys, to save my life, I can't find my jigsaw. So I tried dremeling with my Dremel tool there, and it did okay. So I've been doing it the hard way, drilling every couple of millimeters and just wallering it out. Then I'm gonna take a file and file it down. So we're doing this the hard way. I'll see if I can get this done before the year's up. Finally, one hole at a time, wallering it out, got it done. Now we're gonna file it with this and see if we can make it a little smoother. So not too bad for drilling a bunch of holes. It didn't take long since this is aluminum. All right guys, just put the light in, and kind of looks a little bit like the reflectors, maybe a tiny bit bigger. It's working pretty good. Slow, but working. All right guys, so the other light is in as well. And there's the final product as far as the looks. Not familiar with these lights. This is a first time for me. I did notice it right up here. You can kind of feel it. It actually says top. It actually says top right there. So there is a way to put these in right side up. Ends up being with the tab on top where the wires come out. So next we'll wire it to the existing lights. We'll figure out which wire is which. I'll figure out how to do that. My trailer doesn't have the tags anymore for the wiring diagram, but I gathered that this one's ground and it goes around to that back bolt. I can also see where this one is grounded, and it too goes to the back bolt. So looking back here at my lights, These must be ground. And then we have the actual trailer wires here. Alright guys, let me see if I can film this. Like any rubberized plugs, like even on spark plugs or hoses, when they've been there a while, they kind of get stuck on there. It's pretty hard to pull apart, but literally they just pull apart. Don't want to pull on the wire. You want to pull on the actual boot. And I did have to use the old pick here and a little tiny screwdriver to kind of unseat the boot and pull it off. Just a little tip, they do pull apart, but it's gonna seem like they don't. So something else I ran into, this next connection I pulled apart. The boots came apart, but the connection did not, as you can see. So I'm gonna use my voltmeter. I don't wanna pull anything apart if it isn't wanting to come apart. And see if this is the wire that will run either tail light or the blinker. And put my lead, one of my leads, to the ground. I'm going to touch up on this wire here, and I've got voltage coming. So I've got my running lights on, and that is my running light. So we found one wire. I am thinking about just tying into that wire right there and then pushing the boot down so that the wire will just come down the boot, and I think it should be secure. The black should be to running lights, so we're going to tie into that, and then when we find the stop and blink, we'll put the red one on that. Then we'll figure out how we're going to clean it all up. All right, and there we have it. We've got the running light on and got some lights on. So this one came unplugged as it should. I put the ground back on, and when I probe, I got power, and I've got my brake lights on. I also knew that I had the right wire because I've got the brake lights on, you can see in the truck, and nothing's on here. So just for now, I shoved the wire in there and got a blinker. I don't know if you can see good. I was able to wrap around that connection that came apart. I haven't pushed it all the way in, but wrapped around itself and around the connection. And then I'm just putting the boot right over it. Okay, so what I've done is I slid the boot with the male plug-in down a bit, wrapped it around itself, around the plug, and then wrapped around the wire itself. And when I push it in, it should lock it in place. I may give myself a little extra wire, and yet the boot and all I think is going to protect it quite well. All right, guys, let's see what happens next. All right, so here's the end result. Yeah, they're pretty well sealed in there. I think it should be fine. Just kind of zip tie them all back like they were, and we're done with this side. Now we'll do the driver's side, same thing. Process of elimination. You will need a voltmeter if you don't have any wire diagram tags to follow, but it's as simple as unplug, check, unplug, and check. Little time consuming, but not bad. I've maybe been out here 30 minutes or so. Put the right side blinker. Let go of the brake. I do the left side. Let go of the brake. Put the brake on. All right, just take the blinker off. Hit the brakes. Perfect. And she just turned off the truck. The running light should go off here in a minute. So, yep, it's all working the way it should. And I believe that it attracts a little more attention. Those were working. They were working okay, but now we got double the attention by having the reflectors actually be functioning. All right, guys. The only thing I am going to do right now, I've got the ground wire just barely touching on here. I'm going to strip it and wrap it around. And I'm going to zip tie them and be done with that. And that's how you make these reflectors on these M1102s and 1101s actually functional. Y'all take care. See you on the next video.